She saved Millionaire's son and he changed her life forever. Please subscribe the channel to show your support and love. I never expected my life to change between the scream of a train horn and the crunch of gravel under my shoes. It was a gray October morning in Chicago. People crowded the Red Line platform, their eyes glued to their phones. I was one of them, just another face in the city. Until I heard that scream. I spun around and saw him, a kid in a wheelchair, teetering on the very edge of the platform. His front wheels had slipped off, his hands flailing for balance. The train was already coming. I could see the lights in the tunnel, hear the thunder of the tracks. People gasped, some shouted, most froze. Even the man in the expensive dark coat, tall, commanding, with silver at his temples, didn't move. His eyes were locked on the boy, wide with horror. And then, in one heart-punching second, the wheelchair tipped. I didn't think. I didn't weigh my options. I didn't wonder if I'd make it. I just jumped. The drop from the platform felt higher than I expected. My knees slammed into the gravel, sending pain shooting up my legs. The train's horn blared loud enough to shake my bones. I grabbed him under the arms, my heart pounding so fast I couldn't hear my own breath. My muscles screamed as I yanked him upward. Push, push, someone shouted from above. Hands reached down. I shoved his wheelchair toward them, then hoisted him up with every ounce of strength I had. He was pulled to safety just as the train's wind blasted past us. When they dragged me up, my legs were shaking so hard I thought I might collapse. For a long moment, no one spoke. The boy's face was pale, his chest rising and falling fast. "Thank you," he whispered. That's when the man in the dark coat dropped to his knees beside him. His voice cracked. "Ethan, Joe, thank God." When he looked at me, there was more than gratitude in his eyes. There was guilt, shame. His name was Richard Mason, the Richard Mason, billionaire real estate mogul, the kind of man who bought skyscrapers like other people bought coffee, the kind of man who made headlines, not small talk. And Ethan was his son, his only son. Later, Richard told me that fear had frozen him, that he couldn't make his body move even though his mind was screaming at him to do something. I didn't judge him. I'd seen fear paralyze people before, but I could tell it haunted him. That night, Richard called me personally. He asked if he could take me to lunch just to say thank you. I tried to refuse, but Ethan's voice came through the phone, cheerful and insistent. "Come on, you saved my life. You at least have to eat with us." So I went. We met at a quiet restaurant by the lake. Ethan was sharp, funny, and full of sarcasm. Richard was polite, but quieter. He kept studying me like I was a riddle he couldn't quite solve. Halfway through lunch, he asked, "What do you do for work?" "I'm a cashier," I said, sipping my water. His brow furrowed. "You saved my son's life. And you're scanning groceries for a living?" I smiled. "Rent's not going to pay itself." He didn't smile back. 2 weeks later, I was standing in the glass and steel lobby of Mason & Co. in a navy dress I could never have afforded on my own. Richard had offered me a job not as charity, but because he said, "I need people who see the world differently. You don't think about what it will cost you. You think about what it will save." At first, I thought I'd sink. The corporate world was a shark tank, and I was the smallest fish. But I learned fast. I listened more than I spoke. And slowly, I earned their respect. Richard defended me against anyone who doubted me. Ethan visited the office often, rolling into my cubicle with coffee and bad jokes. Somehow, we became family. But the biggest change wasn't in me. It was in Richard. He started leaving the office early to be with Ethan. He went to therapy with him, He stopped measuring his worth in profit margins and started measuring it in time spent. One evening, after dinner at their house, Ethan rolled into the living room with a small velvet box. "This is for you," he said, grinning. Inside was a gold bracelet with a tiny silver train charm. "So, you never forget the day you jumped," he said. Richard's voice was thick. "And so we never forget the day you saved us both." Months later, Richard told me the truth. "I didn't move that day because I thought someone else would," he said quietly. "But no one did. No one but you." He looked at me for a long moment. "You taught me that the most dangerous thing in life isn't fear. It's thinking we have more time than we do." It's been a year since that morning. I now run Mason & Co.'s community outreach programs, funding opportunities for disabled youth across the city. Ethan is in college, studying graphic design, living on his own. Richard is no longer just my boss. He's my friend, my family, the man who taught me that gratitude is more than words, it's action. And sometimes, when we're sitting in a cafe together, laughing about nothing, I remember that day on the platform, the day the train came, and no one moved, except me.